Hey guys, up, it's Jake here on Jake Matthew Tutorials, and today we have another Visual Studio 10 programming in Visual Basic tutorial. Alright, so we have our form here. I have made this form for this tutorial, and we have a text box named text1, a text box named text2, and a label named label final. And then we have our calculate button here, which I name it button go. You can name it whatever you want. And basically today we are going to be adding a number that they input into this text box and adding that to a number that they input into this text box. And then we're going to press this button and it's going to calculate. Now you could use the val function for this, but the val function can create many errors and is really unnecessary and not as proficient as the TryParse method, which I'm going to teach you right now. So let's double click this calculate button, and it brings up the code for it. First one we need is a remark on what this is going to do. So this code will make all the necessary calculations to output the answer. I'm going to hit enter twice, and then we're going to put another remark, and we're going to call this declarations. We're going to hit enter. And what a declaration is basically giving Visual Basic another variable to work with. So say you wanted to input a number here and you had like a number 2 here. Well, in Visual Basic you could just put a 2 there, obviously. But what you want to do is actually extract the number from this text box and change it into its own variable that can be used as part of a math calculation. So the way we write that is dim, or dimension, space, and then you want to name a variable. So we're going to name des1 for the number that is going to be in the first text box. And then you want to do as decimal. And DEC right here is going to stand for decimal. There's also INT for integer, which all you need to do is just change them out. So DEC, if you write DEC here, you write decimal here. If you write INT here, you write integer here. There's a couple more, but integer and decimal are really the only ones you're going to use. So I'm not going to go too far into that. And then we're going to press enter. We're going to do the same thing for the second one as decimal. And then we're going to do the same thing for the answer. I'm going to do it des final as decimal. Hit enter twice. And so basically we created 3 variables for the 3 things on our form. We have one number, a second number, and an answer. Alright, so now what we need to do is write a remark that says extract text to variables. Hit enter. And now we're going to use the TryParse method. We should be pretty familiar with this by now, but this is pretty much me just going over it, teaching some new people that may not be in the ACC class with us. They could just be watching this. So to write a TryParse statement, you want to write what type of variable you're creating. So I'm going to create a decimal. Then you're going to do dot TryParse, open parenthesis, and then what you want to extract. So we want to extract the text from the first text box. So you do text1 dot text. You don't want to extract the text box. You want to extract the text from the text box. So the dot text is necessary. You're going to put a comma, and then whatever you want that extracted text to be named. So since we declared des1 as our variable for the first text box, we're going to do dec1, close parentheses, hit enter. So you can see these green lines go away once you use the variable in a statement or an equation. So right now these two are still green because we have not used them yet. They're just declared. They haven't been used. So basically, let's just go over this one more time. So it's what you want to create, what type of variable you want to create, sorry, dot TryParse, and then what you want to extract and what you want to name what you just extracted. So then let's do that same thing for the second one. And then let's do that same thing again. Oh, I'm sorry. We actually don't need to do that same thing for the for the answer, because the answer is not something we're extracting. We're actually going to output to the answer. We're not going to extract anything from it. So hit enter, and then we can do a remark that says calculations. Press enter. And so basically in this scenario, our calculate button is going to add these two numbers. So now you simply need to use these variables to add. So we're going to say that des final, which we declared up here, our final answer, is going to equal the des1 plus des2. And it's that simple. And then we need to do another remark that says output, which I know there's not much in the spaces of these remarks. I mean, there's 1 here, 2 here, 3 here. But in a future program, you're going to have a ton of stuff between remarks. So that's why it's so important to keep doing remarks. And we're going to do I'm sorry. We're going to do label final equals. And here's where we need to learn how to output a variable to an answer or label. And the way you do that is you do des final dot ToString. And in this case, it's a number. So we're going to do parenthesis, quotes, number, which is n. And then close the quotes and close the parentheses. Hit enter. And this is actually wrong. And I'm sure you guys caught this before I even did. Basically, you need to change the text of the label, not the label itself. So we had to have that dot text, which we've gone over, and I've forgotten numerous times, so I apologize. But this dot ToString is basically taking this, and a string is simply it is Visual Basic's text, quote unquote, nickname, I guess. A string is a nickname for text, basically. So you're taking this variable and you're changing it to text, kind of like you took the text and you changed it to a variable up here. And that will output to the label. So let's run our form real quick. And we're going to do 2 plus 2 is going to equal 4. Sounds good. Now, if you don't want to have this here, you actually don't need this number here. That is just important because you can do that with currency. There's a lot of other things you can put instead of that n there. So it's going to equal 4. The n, the n that I put in can actually be a C, can be a D. There's a couple things it can be. So you just want to, you're going to either use C, which stands for currency, and that'll change it to a $sign. I'll show you guys real quick here. It'll change it to a $sign with 2 decimals. So we calculate that. It's $4 for 2 decimals. And you can change the amount of decimals. So if you type like C5, it'll change the decimals into 5. So you can see there. So that's basically it, guys. That's how you extract text and change it into a variable for your liking. And then this is how you output that variable to your label. Don't forget that dot text. And that's going to be it for today, guys. I will see you next time. Next time, we're going to go over some more form stuff, some more form tricks, so that we can say, make this calculate button. When you press enter, it'll calculate, or when you press escape, it'll clear. Some cool stuff with the form, just to make your flow a lot easier. And that's going to be it, guys. I will see you next time. Peace out.